Hi, my name is Cameron.
Hi, I'm Justin.
And my name's Jared.
We created an alternative matchmaking interface for a popular game, Overwatch 2.
This project was intended to be a substitute for the in-game matchmaker and provide an environment where users could play the game seriously, but without all the stress of a real ranked game. Our project simulates the in-game ranking system as well as allows users to upload a game-generated CSV file to track detailed statistics. One of our main goals when it came to developing this project was to minimize some of the toxicity that is sadly commonplace in certain Overwatch lobbies by providing a more friendly experience with people that the users know.
What you see here is our back-end database. We have an SQL database with 5 tables. The users table, which tracks the user ID and the ranks for each role, tank, DPS, and support. The statistics table, which tracks the user ID and their detailed statistics, including number of wins per role, number of games per role, and overall damage and healing done. Then we have 3 queue tables, which hold the users while they're in queue. These are split by user rank into beginner, intermediate, and expert tables in order to avoid matching users with other players outside of what we deemed an acceptable skill range.
Users are initially greeted with our login screen. Here, they can log in if they already have an account. Otherwise, they can use the Create Account button to make one. When clicking Create Account, our backend tries to scrape data from their Overwatch 2 profile, and if it succeeds, it will create a new user in our database with the ranks it pulled. If the user has no competitive history or has a hidden profile, we instead give them default values that correspond to an average player.
Here, we can see the user's profile, which showcases their lifetime statistics. There is a rank and a win rate for each of the 3 roles, as well as average damage and healing done per game. The damage stat is calculated by total damage divided by number of tank and DPS games, while the healing stat is calculated by total healing divided by number of support games.
Now we are looking at the Choose Role screen. On this screen, users can select which one of the 3 roles they wish to join the queue for. Depending on their stored rank for that role, they are then inserted into either the beginner, intermediate, or expert queue. Here I clicked on the damage role. This brings me to our in-queue screen where it shows how many people are currently in the queue. Let's now say we hit the damage role by mistake. We can then hit the Leave Queue button to then return to the Choose Role screen. In our backend, this is adding and removing users from the database. Now let's try and join up as tank and see how the queue looks now. How about support? Now that we've seen how this works, let's talk about the in-queue screen a little more. On this screen, since the user has joined the queue, they are now waiting for enough players for a lobby to be made. As you probably saw before, the numbers here indicate the current number of players in the queue and the minimum number of players required for matchmaking to commence. Now what if matchmaking is taking a while? Here we have an Overwatch 2 trivia minigame to entertain our users while they wait. This minigame cycles through various questions relating to the game's lore, and it tracks how many questions the users got correct and how much they got wrong. Fast forwarding a bit, we see that more people have now joined the queue. We can see that we need 1 more support, 1 more DPS, and 1 more tank. Let's see what happens when I add 1 more to the queue manually. See how it updates live? This is because we have a timer set up that will query the backend database every 5 seconds to check for updates in the queue. Up here we can see that we're in the intermediate queue currently. If a user was added to one of the other queues, we wouldn't see any updates here. Now, let's add 1 more to the database. Now we just need 1 tank player for the queue to be satisfied. Let's add the final tank now.
Now that there are finally enough people in the queue, the matchmaking algorithm creates as balanced of a match as possible. and all the match users are directed to this lobby screen. It's then up to the users to host and play the match. Users can invite each other using the displayed user IDs on this screen, as those are the same as their in-game usernames. After the game is finished, users return to their browser and select which team was victorious. Their ranks will be updated accordingly in our database, and they can immediately see the change on their user profiles. They also have the option to upload a CSV file containing in-depth match statistics. When I click Browse, it will open a File Explorer window where they can select a file to upload. This file is then parsed and added to our statistics table.